A night of connection. It was a chilly autumn evening, the kind that wraps you in a warm blanket of nostalgia. The leaves outside danced to the rhythm of the wind, their vibrant colors a stark contrast to the cozy ambiance of my living room. I had invited him over, a man whose presence had ignited a spark in me that I hadn't felt in years. His name was Alex, and from the moment we met, there was an undeniable chemistry between us. As I prepared for our evening together, I couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and nervousness. I chose a soft sweater that hugged my figure just right and paired it with my favorite jeans. The scent of cinnamon and vanilla wafted through the air from the candles I had lit, creating an intimate atmosphere. When Alex arrived, he greeted me with a warm smile that sent butterflies fluttering in my stomach. We shared a bottle of wine, our laughter mingling with the soft music playing in the background. Each sip brought us closer, our conversations flowing effortlessly as we shared stories about our lives, dreams, and aspirations. It felt as if we were peeling back layers of ourselves, revealing our true selves to one another. As the night progressed, I noticed how his gaze lingered on me, filled with admiration and curiosity. There was something electric in the air, a tension that crackled between us like static electricity. I could feel my heart racing as he leaned closer, his voice low and inviting as he spoke about his passions and what made him tick. I decided to take a chance. "Would you like to see my favorite spot in the house?" I asked playfully. He raised an eyebrow, intrigued, and nodded. I led him to my small balcony, adorned with fairy lights that twinkled like stars against the dark sky. The view was breathtaking. The city below was alive with lights and sounds. We stood close together, our shoulders brushing as we took in the scene. The cool breeze wrapped around us like a gentle embrace. "Isn't it beautiful?" I whispered, turning to face him. Our eyes locked for what felt like an eternity. In that moment, everything else faded away. The noise of the city, the chill in the air, leaving just the two of us suspended in time. Without thinking, I reached out to tuck a loose strand of hair behind my ear. His fingers brushed against my skin as he did the same for me, sending shivers down my spine. The world around us disappeared as he leaned in closer, his breath warm against my cheek. "Can I kiss you?" he asked softly, his voice barely above a whisper. I nodded, heart pounding with anticipation. Our lips met gently at first, an exploration filled with tenderness and curiosity. But as our connection deepened, so did the kiss. It became more passionate and urgent. My hands found their way to his hair as he pulled me closer, deepening our embrace. We broke apart for a moment, both breathless and wide-eyed, with wonder at what had just transpired. "Wow," I managed to say, feeling a mix of exhilaration and vulnerability. "Wow, indeed," he replied with a grin that made my heart flutter. We returned inside, where the warmth enveloped us once more. The atmosphere shifted. It was charged with unspoken desires and possibilities. We moved to the couch where we sat close together, our knees touching as we continued to talk and laugh. Eventually, our conversation faded into comfortable silence as we simply enjoyed each other's presence. His hand found mine, fingers intertwined, and it felt so right. I leaned my head on his shoulder, feeling safe and cherished. As time passed, I could feel an undeniable pull toward him, a desire not just for physical closeness, but for emotional intimacy as well. "Can I show you something?" I asked suddenly. He looked at me curiously as I stood up and walked over to my bookshelf filled with memories captured in photographs and books that told stories of love and adventure. I picked up an old photo album filled with snapshots from my travels, each picture telling a story of places visited and experiences cherished. I handed it to him and watched as he flipped through its pages, his expression shifting from amusement to admiration as he absorbed each moment captured in time. "You've lived such an incredible life," he said sincerely. "It's not complete yet," I replied softly, meeting his gaze again. He smiled knowingly before placing the album back on the shelf and turning toward me fully. "I'd love to be part of your next adventure," he said earnestly. My heart swelled at his words. They were more than just an invitation. They were a promise of connection that transcended physical intimacy. In that moment, surrounded by memories and dreams yet to be realized, I felt an overwhelming sense of belonging. As if sensing my thoughts, he reached out again, his fingers brushing against my cheek before gently cupping my face. "Can we take this slow?" he asked softly. "Absolutely," I whispered back. We spent the rest of the evening wrapped in each other,